Joining us now to set the record straight is presidential historian, author of the fabulous book, so many of them, Reagan Rising and Citizen Newt, Craig Shirley, along with Elizabeth Warren's conservative challengers, now an independent, self-described real Indian, and he's an MIT scientist, Shiva Ayyadurai. Both of you, it's great to have you on. Craig, got to start with you. Andrew Jackson. Okay, it's one of the paintings up in the Oval Office.
Yeah, sure.
I've been in the Oval Office, one of my favorite paintings, a beautiful painting. Set the record straight here.
Reagan also hung Andrew Jackson in the Oval Office.
Another racist.
Yeah, exactly. Every president of the 19th century prosecuted the war against the American Indians. Abraham Lincoln, who one of the co-hosts on NBC cited as being an example for Trump, also prosecuted. There were massacres in Minnesota. There were massacres in Colorado. There was a forced relocation. There were hangings of Indians. So Abraham Lincoln also, and even into the 20th century, Phil Sheridan, who'd been general of the Union Army, coined the phrase, went out to go after Indians in the West, and he coined the phrase, the only good Indian is a dead Indian. Teddy Roosevelt said he agreed with that statement, but he might cut out 1 out of 10 Indians and give them some consideration.
So your point is,
none
of this criticism. They do it to Robert E. Lee.
Right.
It's a whitewashing of history.
This is what's known as presentism. This is the fallacy.
Presentism.
Yes, the fallacy of imposing current mores and values on the acts and people of the past. It's arrogant and it's stupid and it's ignorant, and it proves no point other than the arrogance of the present people making the charge.
But you see this D.L. Hewley, entertainer, come on, and they said tons of Indians are killed. Now we're measuring them in weight. I mean, tons of Indians killed. But this is the level of ignorance.
Yes.
On some of these other cable outlets that hold themselves out as high and mighty, by the way.
David McCullough said we are now into our 3rd generation of historically ignorant Americans, and this gentleman proves it.
Shiva, I've got to go to you. You actually sent Elizabeth Warren something for her birthday. Now, you're running against her as an independent, and you call yourself what, Shiva, the real Indian in the race? Because you are...
I'm a real, we've been saying, Laura, it's only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian. And that point that we're making, it hits at a very, very deep level. And it makes everyone chuckle, and the reason it makes people chuckle is because we're bringing out a very, very apparent truth that the liberal white elites, the white liberals, don't want to discuss. And that's the following. If you look at what Elizabeth Warren has actually done, she shoplifted someone's identity. And then when it's exposed, as President Trump did accurately, they throw tantrums and call people racist. In fact, I was called a racist for exposing her and sending her the DNA test kit. But this is essentially the hypocrisy.
Wait. No, Shiva, we've got to remind you. Okay, first of all, you're like a triple PhD, biological sciences of MIT.
I have 4 degrees from MIT. Yeah,
okay,
and my PhD in biological engineering.
Okay, that's all. So you're really smart. So you sent her a DNA test kit, which she refused to. She didn't acknowledge. She didn't send a thank you note. I understand. She didn't do that.
Maybe the instructions.
I was very disappointed.
Oh, they were the Sioux language.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
We just get the code talkers in it to help us. But Shiva, I want to play for you now. Elizabeth Warren takes issue with your claims against her Indian heritage, Native American heritage. Let's just review what she said to verify her Indian heritage. Let's watch.
I still have a picture on my mantle at home, and it's a picture my mother had before that, a picture of my grandfather. And my Aunt Bee has walked by that picture at least 1,000 times, remarked that her father, my papa, had high cheekbones like all of the Indians do.
I can't. That makes me laugh every time I hear it, but it's a serious point. She faked a minority status to list herself at the Harvard Law Directory to get special privileges and special treatment. I don't care what she says.
Yes, it's also cultural stereotyping.
It's cultural. Every Indian has high cheekbones.
Every Indian has high cheekbones. Isn't that a form of racism?
Well,
is papaw a Cherokee term? Papaw? I didn't know. I'm not sure about that either. But go ahead. Go ahead,
I think
Shiva.
the big issue here. I think the big issue here is you have someone who says that they fight for the working people, fight for the poor, fight for people of color, and she has exploited that for her own benefit. And this is not about when they claim that President Trump is making this a racial slur. In fact, she is the one who's a racist because, A, she took advantage of someone's race, she shoplifted someone's identity, and when it's exposed, they start screaming and throwing tantrums like children. And that's a fundamental issue here. And what's fascinating is, you know, Massachusetts is where the revolution took place. The irony is Massachusetts has now become the haven of the sewer that feeds the swamp in Washington, D.C. And what I see happening is, you know, our defeating Elizabeth Warren, what we hope to do is to send a wave out that independents, everyday people who actually work for a living, innovators, entrepreneurs, business people like President Trump deserve to participate in governance. And that's what this is really about.
I love it. Shiva, I love what you've done. I love your bravado. I love the fact that you sent her the DNA test kit. That stuff is good.
I sent it on her birthday.
I know, he was very thoughtful of you. Craig, I want Craig to end this out.
Yeah.
The racial obsession is not, as Joe Scarborough today said, that he only does this for, he only defends white Anglo-Saxon Protestants or something like that. He said, well, he's obsessed with people who are not white, like criticizing them. He went,
they are the elites are obsessed with
this. They're obsessed.
Yes, it's a way of diverting attention. This is right out of the book, The Screw Tape Letters, is to divert attention to things that are not important so you don't talk about the things that are important, like our failing public schools, which can be laid at the feet of liberalism, or failing government, or all the other things that liberals have been
open borders, all of it.
Sure.
And you talk
illegal immigration.
And Craig, your book, Citizen Newt, was fabulous. Learn a lot from the 1994 period. Shiva, it's great to see you. We'll have both of you back.
Thank you.